right, welcome back to Rivals on the Pitch podcast. My name is Pat, your fellow Gooner, and I am here today to discuss the last match week of the season, match week 38. And I have Alan supporting Tottenham.
Woo! Sorry, I'm in Bilbao right now.
Wow, you wish.
And I got Randy supporting Liverpool.
Sorry, I'm in Ibiza. I'm celebrating with the guys.
Okay, Ibiza.
Doesn't matter. Same
Take
shit.
a pill?
Yeah, I did.
Alright.
Ibiza. Oh wait, I don't want to sing.
Gonna get sued. Yeah.
Get
You're gonna sing Waka Waka when Spurs lose.
Waka Waka, eh. 17th, I don't know how. Spurs are going to Bilbao. Whew.
All right. So, last match week. How are we feeling now?
Glad that it's finally here. Glad to freaking put the season to bed and forget about it and move forward.
Forget about it. Okay.
Yeah,
Premier League.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Right.
Everything's already been decided, basically. So there's no interest in watching, in a way, just to see who's going to get the Champions League spots. But that's it. Everything's already decided. Relegation, champions. So not really much to look forward to, honestly.
Hey, Randy, I think your microphone changed to your headphones again.
Yeah.
Who sounds too soft now?
Yeah, you sound real soft. Sounds like you can't win the title next season, softy.
Can you even hear us?
I don't know. He might have unplugged his headphones completely. Maybe that's what happened.
Oh my god. Oh, he says no microphone now. What's he doing?
Can't take this guy anywhere.
I know. Technical difficulties.
Sheesh. Win the league and you fall apart, huh?
I know.
Sheesh. Okay. Well.
Okay. Hey, Bilbao.
Yes. Waka waka, eh. So, no, I'll wait for Randy. Are we waiting for Randy or what?
Yeah, let's wait for Randy. He's on the struggle bus. All right, he's coming back.
He dropped.
Wow. Okay.
Just like Randy dropped, Liverpool has dropped points too. Hey.
Ooh. See, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter because they're champions. But if Arsenal lost like their last game, everyone will be like, "Oh, stats everywhere! Stats everywhere!"
They're
like, "Oh, this is the 5th year in a row that Arsenal have something."
If you were to win the league,
They're gonna be like, "Oh, stage 1, Spiritu Santo won their last game, and stage 5, Pep or Arteta haven't won it their last game this season."
I think you have to admit some of it is true. Some of the banter has some truth behind it, and some of it has actual, like, I won't say deep meaning, but it's some truth behind it. You don't think?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, but at the same time, it's just like they're just picking at, and I get it's banter, and that's why it's like exaggerated to a point, right? That's kind of like what a joke's built off of an exaggerated truth. But I mean,
it's a microscope. It's a little tiny fact put under a microscope and blown up to be something it's not. But exactly. I mean, we get it too, though. We get it from everywhere.
Yeah, but you guys deserve it. I don't deserve it.
You deserve it. I'm back, all right? You're trying to sabotage me.
There he is.
Sabotage me, all right? I see how it is.
Yeah.
Well.
All right. So, let's look at the second to last games that we had. And who should we start with? Who are we putting on the spot?
The top 6. That's the only thing that really matters.
I was going to say we should put on the ones who are reaching the finale of this important cup, but because they both had wonderful results going into the final.
we had our backup goalkeeper, 8 different people in our lineup. It doesn't matter. I mean, you
Wow.
can't say,
So
"Oh,
wait a minute. So Ange is even
uh-huh."
resting the goalkeeper
I
Should we
think it's
put
just
in
against
Big Hand
United
Forrester or
I
what?
think it's just to give Kinski some playtime. Why not? Why not
But
take the opportunity to give him some playtime?
to play against United? You're
Yeah,
resting your keeper?
yeah.
Wow, it must be nice to have players on the bench.
Oh, it must be
Anyway,
nice to have your keeper the whole season, huh?
I'm our one
I wouldn't
keeper.
know. I wouldn't know.
All right, so let's open it up with Friday. We had Chelsea at home hosting Manchester United. Last game before the final of the Europa League, and they dropped points 1-0 to Chelsea.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, yeah, Manchester United. I think I saw a stat where they had 30 points at Christmas, I believe, and now they have 39 points.
Those are Eric Hagen points,
Ooh.
and they have to thank him because if not, they would have been relegated.
Do you think they would have been better
facts.
off?
I think so.
They would have been better off with Ten Hag.
They wouldn't
mean,
have
how
been in
many-
this position, but they would have been maybe mid-table, I believe.
How about with Rude Van Nistelrooy?
I think
That's hard
they
to
would have
say.
been.
I think the sample size is too small.
Yeah, I think who knows? Because look at what he did with Leicester, and I mean, I don't want to say Leicester doesn't have a better squad than Manchester United because the performance is, but Leicester has been just as bad this season. But on the table, points wise, they've been better than United. So I don't know. But
I don't know. I think with Ruud van Nistelrooy, they had a good momentum going, so we don't know if that could have continued still. But like we said,
Didn't they have some injuries?
it's done with.
In between. But I mean, I don't feel like they had a few injuries, and that's what they were trying to say was the issue with them. But I feel like maybe Eric Ten Hag, since he did, put this lineup together, maybe he knew how he wanted to run it and why it ran more efficiently. And now you bring in Ruben, and it's not as efficient with him with what he wants to do. But it's still, like you said, only 9 points. And we get it. I get it. It was a bad run for us too, and
yeah,
we wanted to. At some point, a lot of the Tottenham fans wanted to see a new manager and see what a new manager would bring. But you look at this, for example, like would it have been? Is it better that we kept Ange? Maybe maybe that's something that I know. Ruben wanted to stay until they didn't want to come in until the summer.
Yeah.
Maybe if they would have honored that, who knows where United would sit right now. But
then what happens if Eric Tag would have had a wonderful season then? What then?
yeah. What
You
if
gave
they
him the
finished?
contract extension, and then you told Ruben that he's going to be taking over in the summer, then you're in
go
a
with that.
conflicted
It doesn't
position.
matter. I don't think if you're already. See, even my dog is crying. It's okay. Even if if you set up that with an agreement with Ruben, you just follow through with it. Or
So Ruben right now could have been a champion again with his Portuguese team that he was managing before he came to United. They just won the league. It was a tight one, but they managed to do it. So do you think he regrets having come so early, not getting that summer of signings?
I think so. There was
I
even
think
rumors that he was thinking of quitting in January,
yep.
but supposedly the back of house, the staff was able to convince him to stay. But I mean, those are rumors, but that just comes to give you an idea of like how bad it was. How bad is it?
I think I was going to say the same thing. I think if the rumors are true that he was kind of contemplating on, walking away from United, then I'm sure he really does regret it. But maybe now that he's in a final, he's starting to kind of come around and say, okay, maybe it's not as bad, or maybe there's an opportunity for me to turn the season around. But you got to go through the mighty Tottenham Hotspurs first.
Ooh. And speaking of the Hotspurs, they also took a loss right before their big
They weren't
final
hot.
against.
They sizzled. They fizzled out.
They fizzled, yeah. against Aston Villa, who still fighting to get a spot for Europe.
Yeah, they definitely
Um,
were because they had their best lineup out there.
yeah, I mean, what else do they have to? Why would they raise players now? I mean, Europe's on
Champions
the
League.
line.
Yeah.
But they're not playing champion, So I'm just saying that. Yeah, they
No, I'm
don't have any
saying
reason
they're
to
playing
rest players.
for
Yeah,
because
yeah,
Champions
they
League
could have fallen
positions.
out of the Champions League.
Right.
So they were playing for Champions League position over a Europa position. So that was something important because they played a strong lineup. Ali Watkins, Onana, Asensio. They still had Torres on
And Martinez
defense.
for the time
Martinez.
being.
I was
so
I was 1 second.
I was gonna say, Martinez, that could have been his last game at Aston Villa. I saw some shedding some tears.
So they were saying that they might have to sell him because of PSR rules, right? And
Money. Okay.
some other players, even after selling Duran, they might still have to look into selling. So my question is, do they do this the right way? Because they kind of went all in on creating a squad, right, to win something.
Yeah.
And right now it looks like they're not getting anything this season. They are qualifying for Europe next season, but you're kind of putting yourself in a hole. And is that smart? Would you want to see your team do that?
Well, it depends. Maybe they could get someone as good, but cheaper.
What I've
Like
heard
maybe-
was maybe Kelleher from Liverpool. It was an option they were looking at for him to replace. Martinez.
He wants to play first team football. Liverpool probably can't do much about it. So
Especially with the new goalkeeper that is coming back from loan from Valencia, who's going to be supposedly, it's going to be between him and Allison. So we're going to see how that goes. So that leaves Kelleher in the third position. And yeah, I agree. Aston Villa would make sense. Or even, I believe Newcastle was even looking at him. But he wants first team
You think
football.
they're going to try to sell him to a competitor?
I mean, you got Aaron Ramsdale as well.
True, you can get that for cheap. But I
They-
wouldn't get him because maybe you get relegated again. He's been that hot streak.
Yeah, I just say that they have options, and maybe that's not a position that they want to prioritize. I think Coutinho's still in the roster. They got to get rid
Oh
of
yeah, I
him.
believe he's on loan.
So, who knows? They might just want to prioritize other places.
Yeah, I just think that you see it in other sports, especially like basketball, where in the NBA, a lot of these teams go all in, just to win one season.
Win now
And
mentality.
you see the fallout afterwards. Like I know it's not NBA, but the Brooklyn Nets. They went in for Kevin Durant,
the big
Kyrie
three.
Irving, and James Harden, and nothing came of it. And now we're the New York, the Brooklyn Nets are in a tough situation where they're just filling in a lot of gaps and debt and trades and whatnot. And when seeing a team like Aston Villa, when they're putting a whole lot of investing a lot into these players, trying to get some quick return on investment, and you don't get that. Now you're selling players, and you're kind of putting yourself in a little bit of a bind. Maybe you're risking being fined, selling players. Like, was it worth it if all you're getting out of it is Champions League? And it might be, it might be enough to persuade a few players, to take pay cuts and stay with the team. Some of these younger talents coming up, maybe they're like, what, Aston Villa looks like a place for me.
Yeah.
And so who knows? We'll see. I don't think it's the end of this
I mean,
project
you did
yet.
bring
but
up, yeah. No, I think he's got plenty of time. But you did bring up the NBA, and I was going to say, since it's the end of the season, the last game, I know in the NBA they talk about not resting your starters because that's what the fans go to watch. What do you think about it? Like, let's say Liverpool and Arsenal, they don't need their starters; they're cemented. What do you think about that? As a fan, would you want to go see the B team play, or you're going there to see, Declan Rice, Saka, Virgil, Mo Salah play? And I know it's different for everyone else, but
I
what's
think
your
it's a little
thoughts on that?
different. I think it's a little different when it comes to football, especially with the amount of games that are being played.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's I know in the NBA they'll fine you if you sit down a superstar because, like you said, it's supposed to be bringing money in, and you want to give the fans what they want. But with football, there's so much tournaments. You're going to go into preseason here in a few weeks, anyways. That
Yeah.
it,
Now,
I wouldn't be mad.
And now's the time where, like Randy said, teams already have cemented their goal of where they want to play next season, Champions League, Europa, etc. They have already started to. There's players who have been basically carrying injuries, who are like, all right, time to get the surgery. So they're already turned themselves in essentially
Yep.
to wait until the season starts. So yeah, I mean, I think it is different. There's a lot of competitions, and obviously, football, soccer is a very demanding sport in comparison to all these others. Not to say that it's any more difficult, but the overall coverage and distance is just far more, far superior. So, and you also have a lot more players, too. Like with the NBA, like you typically have a couple stars, and you got 5 players on a team. Whereas football, you have 11 on the pitch, and then you typically can make 5 substitutions. So you're bound to see somebody big,
Yeah, yeah. And there's someone who's chasing maybe a certain stat, so not everyone's gonna be sitting.
Yeah, stat
Well,
padding.
why not? You want to chase another stat? Maybe get your 22nd loss of the season, or did that already happen?
Ooh.
Come.
What about
beginning
that
of
stat,
next
Jason?
beginning of next season? Let's talk about our record. Like it really matters.
Oh,
It
0-0-0.
doesn't matter.
So, Alan, what was your prediction for this Villa game? I think you were saying that since I wasn't on the last podcast, you were finally gonna predict the loss.
No,
No,
it was close enough.
that was a draw.
1-1. You said 1-1, so you get 0 points for that one. Wow.
My thought process behind it was
You
they
should
were
have
going
gone
to
for
give.
the loss.
I was going to because, but in my head, I was like, you know what? They're probably gonna put in Romero and Van de Ven at the last, maybe
Just to
start
get,
them,
just to get
or
some.
they're gonna put them to get some game time. But they weren't even on the lineup, not even on the
I heard
bench.
Ange didn't show up. He needed rest.
He hasn't shown up since December. We'll see.
Ooh.
I mean, we had
Wait, is it-
Sergio Reguilon on there. I haven't seen that dude since.
Sheesh.
Well,
He
he's
still
played.
plays?
He played like 3 games this season, and I haven't seen him since like 2022 until this season. And
Wow.
so you could tell that that's the type of lineup that we had. And as soon as I saw the lineup, I was like, man,
Not
I
watching.
should have my first loss prediction. Prediction
should've,
loss
'cause-
should have been this week.
Even if you had a starting 11 that was your starter, no one's gonna want to get injured before that final. No one's
No.
gonna go that extra mile. No one's gonna make that extra jump.
We brought in Bentacore for 15 minutes, Richarlison for like 10,
Damn, you have options.
Solanke
That's
for
nice.
like okay. But yeah, no, it's actually I didn't predict the win, and even maybe if we win next week, the final, then maybe we might be able to get one more victory. That's what I want.
You know what?
I want to get win next week or tomorrow. Ooh, makes
Okay.
my stomach hurt. And then next week, that way we beat United in the final, and then we pass them in the league, so they finish dead last, and no one can say we finished last. Even though it'd be kind of cool to finish last and get a trophy, but
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter, right?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's just
because Arsenal
weird.
saved you from relegation, so it doesn't matter. So, this it's such a weird scenario, everything that's happening. But hey, you know what?
I sometimes people say like, well, not sometimes people say, but recently people were like, they don't deserve to be in the finals, but we got into Europa not because of what we did this year. We got into Europa because of what we did last year. So
Yeah,
we're finishing what we were set out to do last year. So it's last season,
Yeah.
and United, the only reason they're in Europa is because they won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
that's how they got their spot. So when people argue like, well, they don't deserve to be here, it's like, it's not what we did this season. It's not like we, won the lottery and we said, hey, look, we got a spot in Europa. Crazy. No, it's what we did last season. So
Is it? I feel like it's so weird that a Europa League finals on a Wednesday. I feel like finals are always on the weekend, but then again, I feel like this season's Europa League was downgraded a little bit because they didn't
oh
add
my
the
god.
the people who fall off from Champions League. I imagine City and Liverpool and
So
all these teams like in the Europa League. That would
but
have
they
made it
didn't
more interesting.
they didn't win it the last few times they dropped. So who says to say they were gonna win it?
Well, there's options there.
But it would have
if
you would have had a
every
better
Europa
semi.
League-
You would have had a better semifinals
If
than
every
against
Europa
Spurs and,
League
and
finisher,
Bilbao
I
if every
think-
Badgers.
Europe, I don't know.
I'm
If
pretty
every Europa
sure-
League finisher winner was from the Champions League, then I'll say you're right.
Didn't-
Your argument
didn't-
holds some value, but it doesn't.
Didn't
It's not every
Manchester
single one.
United win it after falling out from Champions League? The year
When?
that Pogba was there, Mourinho. They beat
And like
Ajax in the
what,
final.
12 once? What
This is
about
like
all the other times? What
Mourinho's
about
did
all-
it very recently. It is United who's now in
I
the
don't
final.
want. If it was, if every season the Champions League fallouts, wherever you want to call them, won the Europa League, then you'll have an argument. But until then, sorry.
I'm just saying,
I
Bomo
don't-
Glint in the semis. I mean,
It's not
Uh,
much watch TV.
they-
yeah.
Okay. So
And just thinking
why did
about how it
Liverpool-
ended this season at the Champions League, what teams
Okay.
would have been in the drop to go down there?
it would have
It's
been
Manchester City. They didn't make it.
Yeah, it would have
so
been
they would have
City,
been
yeah.
down.
So why didn't they win the FA Cup?
Because they got Eze who's better than you.
cricket. I would not stand for this banter.
Banter.
Palace is
speaking
better
to
than
me?
you in the league. Why
We'll
can't they
see.
be City?
We'll see how much banter you have after next week.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
It's tomorrow.
No, you're gonna do a no call no show.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not showing up next week if we lose tomorrow.
There you go.
Listen,
All right.
I will say this: if we win, I'm not gonna be talking. I'm just gonna be celebrating. I'm not gonna be talking shit. All right. There's a difference.
Okay.
You
So
know.
not like Liverpool. They win the title and immediately they think about Arsenal, right? So it's not, you won't do that.
No.
Wow.
And
Okay.
there's one thing I don't like is people are like, "Oh, we won a trophy. What do you have?" And obviously, the Champions League is a higher caliber than the Europa, so I feel like we can't really talk shit. And I think most fans aren't really. There's going to be a few, of course, that are going to be super loud. Every club has those. But I feel like to me, it's more of an internal like celebration. We did it, like just a release.
A trophy is a trophy.
It's like when
And
you come
I-
home, you
and
take your
I-
bra off.
Out of all the trophies that you could have won this season, this is probably the biggest. I mean, I think the Premier League might be harder, but I don't think you were realistically going for that. I don't think that's like an end goal. I don't think Ange last season, beginning of the season, was like, all right, well, we're going to win it this year. You know what I mean? But Europe, I feel
Yeah.
like you had a chance. So
That's what we were discussing last week.
so-
We were saying which
I don't
trophy
listen.
you think is
Wow.
important. It was Champions League, Premier League, and then Europa League over
Yeah, so-
FA Cup,
Yeah.
Carabao Cup, Community
What-
Shield.
yeah.
How would you rank them? Because I think me and Randy were very similar. How would you
Okay.
rank?
So I would say Champions League, Premier League, Europa, FA Carabao.
Okay, yeah.
That's
I
what we
think.
basically had. Just because it's
Yeah.
Europe, you're still somewhat European, so I think it's above domestic.
Even
Yeah.
if you already win the Champions League, let's say you win the Champions League next year,
Yeah.
do you still keep Champions League over Premier League, or is it going to flip flop because of what you want next?
It's different because Arsenal hasn't
No.
won the Champions League, so I think that's different.
I think realistically, I want the Premier League. Like, I feel like I want it more than the Champions League. But if we win the Champions League, I just think the Champions League is bigger anyway. Like, it doesn't matter how. I mean, look at Liverpool
It's
too.
global,
Randy would,
I think.
yeah. If you look, what Randy said, when they won the Champions League, it was a bigger celebration when they won the Premier League the year after, because that's the one they were really after to end that drought. So sometimes it's individual meaning to each club. I do think the Champions League is way bigger, um, just because it is universal. And I have to say, I think maybe it's too why people feel like there was a little drop off in the Europa League is because in the Champions League, the games this year were like phenomenal. I mean, the
So
highlight
we
I think
agree
of the
that this
season.
format was great then.
I think this format was really good. The league was like a little weird. It was hard to get used to, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think the highlight of the entire tournament was that Inter Barcelona semifinal. The first leg and the second leg. It was like 3-3 the second leg.
That was like a
Yeah.
proper final type of
That
game.
was insane. That was a
I'm telling
fantastic
you,
game.
if you would have had Brendan Magic Johnson instead of Jamal, Barcelona would have been in the final. But hey, everyone wants to say he's the next
Jamal
Messi.
scored. Isn't he like
Well,
13?
Jamal?
No, he's too old for Spurs.
No, he's like 14 and a half or I don't know.
Yeah.
also the right age there.
Yeah, he's like 17. Damn,
Yeah, I think
I
17.
think he's
That's wild.
17, and he's already got like
I'm
100
only
games.
a year older than him. That's crazy.
But yeah. All right, cool. So you didn't get your points, but all eyes on tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah,
All
I'm
eyes on
nervous.
tomorrow. We will have Manchester United against Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League final.
Oh,
Are you yawning?
Oh, because that boring.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah,
He wants to see clowns fight.
everyone's gonna be watching it. Everyone's tuning in.
I probably will watch it. Yeah, I'll probably be on my way home. I'll watch it. On my
I try
phone.
to come up with an excuse to get out of work, but I
You
might
sound
get to
to-
watch it. But I get horrible services at my job site, and so it's gonna be. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be nervous. Nobody texts me.
Dude.
I'm just gonna text goal.
Oh
Goal.
Peru.
All right. So then we had the highlight game of the week. Arsenal at home hosting Newcastle. This was a game 2 points apart. Newcastle was sitting in third, Arsenal in second. So this was for essentially second place. Arsenal in the end come away with 1 goal. Clean sheet for David Raya, who's now tied with Matt Sells for the Golden Glove competition. So, yeah, Arsenal get Champions League again this next year. Have another go. Decent game. I think Newcastle are a hard team, but we were at home. You know, I think we played the game that we wanted to, and we didn't let them do what they wanted. Weird refereeing. I think he was letting a lot go, and the commentators were loving it because the Newcastle players were just throwing themselves around. They want that like very stop and go, kind of kill the momentum. But overall, decent game. And Newcastle now, I think they also get Champions League now, right? They are currently sitting in fourth. Actually, Manchester City just won today.
Yeah,
So they cemented their place. Newcastle have 1 more game to go. At the moment, and this is very interesting, at the moment, 4th, 5th, and 6th place are all sitting at 66 points. And then you got 7th place at 65. So 6th place Aston Villa and 7th place Nottingham Forest out of the Champions League at the moment, but they could make that stretch, and it's all going to depend on the last games here.
I was gonna say, I think Forest can't get into Champions, but they can get into Europa. Aston Villa, Chelsea, and if Newcastle win, I think that knocks City into the Europa.
If they
lose.
win, oh yeah, if City loses,
this is
and
the only
then
thing
Chelsea,
that's important is just these positions.
really.
But I just think it's a shame for Nottingham Forest to hold that 3rd position for the longest time, and then just to have it slip away. But then again, this is where those teams who've been there, done that,
But
step up, the step on the pedal, and they make those last minute pushes that you need to do to cement your place. And
I
that's
think
something that Nottingham Forest isn't familiar with.
and I think next year we're gonna see we might see a drop off in their performance because they're gonna if they're qualified for Europa, so now they got more games that they're gonna be playing, and that's something they didn't face this season. You know, they only had what the League Cups plus the league
domestic cups.
yeah.
so you didn't get that fatigue that most teams got. So we'll see how they can keep up with both.
But then again, they'll have a little more buying power. So
I
we'll
don't know.
see
They spend a
what they
lot.
buy.
They spend a lot. So I don't know about that.
That's what that was. What I was going to ask is, what do we expect from the next season? Improvement or to
I
sustain
think
that level?
this was like a one season wonder type of thing for them. I think they're going to be mid table.
Mm,
Yeah, I think not because they're gonna drop off in talent. Like I said, I think they have more competitions they'll be participating in.
yeah.
So those legs are gonna get more tired a lot quicker. So we're gonna see this instead of seeing this downfall. When we're 30 games, 32 games in the season, we're gonna see that. Maybe in December, maybe in January of next season, where you'll start seeing them fall off. And I don't want to say fall off because I don't think it's a drop off in talent. I think it's just that fatigue that they didn't experience this season. They're gonna have to deal with that
Something
next
they're
season.
not going to be used to dealing
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. Lots, couple places there for grabs still. So the highlight game was the Arsenal Newcastle game. What did you guys predict? I said Arsenal would win 3-2. I expected Newcastle would definitely score some goals, but nothing. Nothing. Just a 1-0 in this game. So
I predicted a draw for my own scenario I had built in my head where Arsenal drop out of the Champions League.
oh man,
Well, of course, I've had Newcastle 2-1 over Arsenal,
wow.
which didn't go as well, but
All right. I guess I get points for that one. Um, yeah. Then we move on to Liverpool, who lose on a Monday night away at Brighton. Um, the Static fans didn't really care so much about the loss. They're still celebrating. But we saw Crystal Palace. They beat Wolves today. They came right back after being champions, and there was no drop off there. So, Randy, well, what's the excuse?
Excuse is we're still hungover, bro. There's no reason to play anymore, honestly. Like Alan said, I think it's just Salah is trying to see if he can break that record held by Alan Shearer. But there's nothing to play for. I think it's just rotating, giving players minutes like Kwanzaa, Timakis, as we saw, Chiesa made an appearance. They're resting. They don't need. There's nothing to play for. But it was a good game though. I did that goal. There was a lot of beautiful goals in that game, but there was nothing to. It just sucks the fact that we haven't won a game since we won the title. But I mean, what is to expect? Everyone's partying. But
Alright.
it is what it is. Well,
It is
hopefully
what it
next,
is.
and we already made big moves, so that's looking enticing. Even though we're not playing well on the field at the moment, we are doing moves behind the scenes, and that is good to see.
Yep, definitely. Obviously, we have to cover the last few games here, but then we will shortly start moving on to all these transfers. I'm excited for it. You guys excited?
Yeah.
No, because I haven't seen anything.
Only,
I'm
what
excited
about
for.
your head coach
We'll see.
heading to free agency?
We'll see.
All right, and then one of the last games today was Manchester City at home hosting Bournemouth. Last City game, home game of the season. We have Kevin De Bruyne saying his goodbye. Had a chance to score, didn't put it in the back of the net though. It's a shame to end it that way, but it's been a long career. Starting
At
off
least he
at
got a
Chelsea.
statue.
Yeah, and he does get a statue at Manchester City that will be built. So I don't know. It's the end of an era for that City squad. That they basically won so much. And
And how about that, Pep Guardiola, his first trophyless season?
Yeah, no.
first
So you think he's
first
coming next
league,
year with a vengeance?
first
No.
league to do that to him. So we're not the farmers.
No.
I mean, this season's been phenomenal for the Premier League. So much surprise. All these what we expect to be mid-table teams showing up. Tottenham United at the bottom, City struggling, Arsenal struggling, in comparison to the last two seasons, and all the English teams pushing really far into the competitions, European competitions. I think this was like such a good season for English football altogether.
And wait till next season when we're gonna
Yeah.
have like 6 or 7 teams in Champions League or in
Yeah.
basically in Europe. It's
Yeah.
gonna
Who?
be looking good.
It's gonna be who?
Who
Maybe
wins it?
Manchester United,
Whatever. All
Liverpool,
right, next question.
Arsenal.
Next
You
Yeah.
question.
See.
asked.
Oh,
Randy, I know who you're rooting for. I know who you're rooting for.
Oh, who? Cock on balls?
Yeah. But
all
yeah,
right.
I think especially seeing all the moves that Real Madrid is doing right now, and it
Yeah.
just seems like they can just have this buying power that's unmatched, and it kind of just it doesn't frustrate me because hey, why not if you have that power? But it's good to see something. It's good to see the English league doing as well as it is to show that like to be in this league, you have to be top. Like I'm sure any team in the the Premier League can go far in La Liga and La Serie A. Like you pick any of the 20, maybe not the bottom three, but 17 for sure and up. Put them in any other league, and I guarantee you they'll end up in the top half of any league. Um,
Well, maybe.
but
I was just thinking, because we in the Champions League, obviously Inter now in the final with PSG. Thought Inter played really well against Barcelona, but I feel like a lot of the times when I saw them play, they kind of like played the way smaller teams in the Premier League play, where they kind of sit back and just try to hit you on the
yeah,
counter.
yep,
The comparison is that they have the attacking power to do something like that. So in my head, I was thinking, they've been able to do this to bigger teams from outside of Italy, where when they play in Italy against these other Italian teams, they don't do that. So it's like almost like they're coming into the competitions to play against foreign teams, playing like the smaller team and just relying on hitting teams on the counter. Like they don't dominate on the ball the way like Arsenal, City, Tottenham, Liverpool. They don't do that. So I was thinking that too. Like if Inter, for example, who's now Premier League, Champions League finalist, if they came to the Premier League, how would they do? Specifically in this season too, would have been interesting to see how they would play. I just feel like it would be hard for them to maintain that.
yeah,
I mean, again, everyone talks about physicality when you go into the English Premier League. That's what everyone always talks about compared to Italy and all these other leagues. So I think that's something they would have to get used to it. That the game is very physical over here. But I mean, I think that would be good to watch. Honestly, I mean, Inter do have a good goalkeeper. They have a good back line. So I guess
Yeah.
that's why they're allowed to do those. Play those counterattacks, defense, because they have quality back there to give them a chance.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move into next week's and last games?
Oh,
thank goodness, Jesus.
Alan's tired.
it's
Yeah,
been a
I'm
long
tired.
38
God.
weeks.
Estoy cansado, jefe.
I'm tired. I'm
You
tired.
got
all right.
gray hairs watching this league.
All right.
Mhm.
So I have asked. So let's go over the Premier, our mini league, because this is going to be the last time we make points for the mini league. So I just want to show you guys where we're standing. So obviously, both of you missed your points this last match week for not guessing the correct predictions for either your team's games or the highlight game. I get 2 points because I guessed the winner for the Arsenal Newcastle. So do you guys want me to explain the rules again?
Alan needs the rules
Okay, Alan
explained.
needs the rules.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Randy needs
So
them too.
each
No.
one of us we predict the outcome of our team's game. So I predict for Arsenal, Alan predicts for Tottenham, Randy predicts for Liverpool. If you guess the winner, you get 1 point. If you guess the score, you get 3 points, right? In addition to each of our team's predictions, we also choose a highlight game, and the same rules apply. If you get the right score, you get 3 points. If you only guess the winner, you get 1 point. If you don't get either, you get
You
0
hear that,
points.
Alan?
If the game of your team happens to be the highlight game, means that you're only predicting one game. So only in that case you get double points if you get either of them right. because you're only predicting one game. We want to make sure all of us predict 2 games, except for when that
So
game
then
happens to be the
I should
same
have
one
like double my points.
for the whole season.
Yeah, go back and listen to every episode and double check my work.
All right. So currently, I'm sitting in first with 49 points. Randy's sitting in second with 38 points. Alan's sitting in third with 26. At this stage of the season, we are going into the last match week in which we will predict the scores, or at least try to predict the scores of every single game. There are 10 games, 20 teams, 3 possibilities for each team, and many, many points to grab. You could essentially grab up to 30
30
points if you
points,
get
yeah.
all of them right. If you only get the right winners, you can get up to 10 points.
Not good enough.
Not good enough? All right, well, if you can get half of them, 15, and then the other half, 20 points.
A lot of possibilities.
I need those 30 points.
Okay, let's go.
So
for the
picks first to
30.
lose then.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I sent you guys the sheet so you can fill in your scores. I changed all of them. No,
Nice.
just kidding. So we're
You
going to
looked
go
at
down.
mine, so you picked mine. So
Yeah, that's why I had to mix it up because I didn't want it to be like the same, like bingo. You know,
that's why he put his scores last. Because he's like, oh, these are smart fellas. Let me go based off
Yeah.
of what they think.
No, I didn't say that. I said fart smell us.
Smart fellas. I see what you did.
All right, so we're going to quick fire all these games and see where we end up. Should we start with our games first?
Let's just go down the table. Leave it
All right,
as
let's
that.
go down the table. All right. So we start off with Bournemouth at home hosting Leicester City. Barty's last game of the season, last game for
no,
Leicester.
his last game was last week.
Okay,
He's not
he's
playing
done.
this game.
He's done.
He's
Why?
done. He did it 500 games,
Oh, that's right.
and I think 200 goals.
Yeah.
He scored on his
500
last.
200 goals. That's right.
Why he doesn't want to end on an odd number?
Yeah, that would
No,
be
I just
odd.
think it's the coach's opinion or something. Coach's decision. And he's leaving regardless, so I don't think there's a point in him playing. They're relegated.
That's true. All right. So Bournemouth at home hosting Leicester. I said Bournemouth 3, Leicester 0.
I'm not looking at my.
Okay.
Should I pull it up? All right,
Yeah,
I'll
let's pull it up.
That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Let me pull it out. Pull it up.
Oh.
Oh. All right.
Pull it out.
I have
It was boring, that's why.
Bournemouth 2, Leicester City 0.
Ooh. Randy?
Oh. For me, I have Bournemouth 2, Leicester 0.
Wow. Okay. And then we have Fulham at home hosting Manchester City. I have a 1-1 draw.
I have a Fulham 3, Man City 2. Fulham with the upset.
No way.
Yes, wait.
Yeah, no
See,
way. No way. I got Fulham 1, Manchester City 2.
Ah, okay.
Wow, that's dumb.
Dumb is picking Spurs to win all the time.
Nope.
Alan's like, doesn't matter. Just one game counts.
Exactly.
All
Putting
right.
all eggs in that basket.
We have Wolves at home, our team of the season. Wolves at home hosting Brentford.
Ooh.
I got a 2-2.
Yeah, me too. I wonder why. I got
Wow.
2-2 draw.
Well, I'm going to mix things up. 3-2 for the Wolves.
Okay. Then we have Nottingham Forest at home hosting Chelsea. Chelsea's still trying to get into that top 4. They are currently sitting in 5th, though. Oh, actually, top 5. So, Nottingham Forest, I had a Chelsea win 1-0 over the home Forest.
So, Chelsea actually have their Conference League final on Wednesday.
Oh, against Anthony, right?
Yeah, the GOAT.
Anthony and company.
The GOATs.
But they can probably beat them with their 30 other players that they have. But I'm going on Nottingham Forest 3, Chelsea 1.
Wow.
Okay.
For me, I think it should be a draw. 1-1.
All right. And if Real Betis win the Conference League, I'll get you guys Anthony jerseys,
Hey, I'll rock it.
the United ones.
Yeah, that's nice. Why not?
No.
No, not United.
No.
United.
Give me a Gianni Cardoso.
Oh,
Apparently he's
because he
coming
might go to Spurs.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never seen him play, but
He's American, boy.
He looks
Represent
really
the red,
good
white,
from
and
the
blue.
highlight videos.
From the bench.
from the really shiny YouTube videos that
Yeah.
flash. Oh,
Welcome
flashy.
to Tottenham. All right. Manchester United at home hosting Villa. I had Villa 2, United 1.
I had United 1, Aston Villa 3.
Ooh. And I had Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 2.
Nice.
Bang.
Nice. I know
All
who
right.
you're rooting for tomorrow.
All right. And we have Southampton's last game in the Premier League hosting Arsenal. I got Arsenal 3-0.
I have Arsenal 3, Southampton 0, and
Wow.
Ramsdale.
So
you're an
You
Arsenal
can get
fan
done
without
dirty
telling me.
by You can get done dirty by your ex teammate who don't care about you and they don't care about anybody else.
I'll get you a David Raya jersey
Nah.
with all the clean sheets number.
All
I
right.
need you to shave your beard like David Raya. Looks like Sharpie.
Sharpie, all right. Well, he's got plenty of those in the drawer. Well, I got Southampton 0, Arsenal 2.
All right, I'll get you a jersey too, and a Sharpie. All right. And
Give me
we
a
have-
Jorginho shirt.
All right. I'll get you one. Newcastle at home hosting Everton. Newcastle want to get that. Want to cement their Champions League spot.
So
You gonna say your
Okay.
score? Dude, we're
I-
waiting on
I-
you.
You want to change it up now?
Yeah, I'm gonna change it now. No, I went at Newcastle 3, Everton 1.
Okay. I did Newcastle 2, Everton 2.
Wow, it's like you don't even want to win the mid league.
I know.
I'm telling you, you got to
Just wait till the last game to see what he put.
Oh,
For me, I put Newcastle 2, Everton 0.
All right. And we move on to Anfield and probably Trent's last game if he gets any time.
Did he even play last week?
No.
Or did he just cry?
Wow.
He cried because he's got tears of winning a championship. You wouldn't know what
Yeah.
that look feels like.
Did you hear Randy's 30-minute
Yes.
goodbye to Trent last week?
Wow.
I bet you Trent, when he's like upset about all this stuff, he just calls Jude and he cries on the phone to Jude.
Hey, Jude.
Yeah, that was
I
just thinking
just
of
got
that.
food.
All right, so I have Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1.
I have Liverpool 2, Crystal Palace 1, but I don't know if I
Wow,
want to
Alan
switch that.
actually rooting for Liverpool?
I think I
Nope,
want to
it's
go.
solidified. You already said it. You can't change it.
Okay, all right.
Well, I'm happy Alan decided to join the bandwagon. I got
Actually-
Liverpool 2, Crystal Palace 1.
I actually want Alan to change it because whenever he changes, he's always wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe you'll
Whenever I
actually
don't
get a
change it,
point
I'm
this
wrong.
time.
Whenever you don't change it, you're wrong. All right, then we have Ipswich Town at home hosting West Ham. Last game for Ipswich in the Prem. I got a 0 for Ipswich, West Ham 2.
I think since it's a home game for Ipswich, I can kind of see them winning, but I'm just gonna go with a 1-1 draw. At the Portsmouth Road.
Well, sadly, Ipswich is going down with no score. They're going to be 0, West Ham 1.
All right, then the last game of the season. These are all played at the same time, but last one on our list here, we have the mighty Tottenham at home hosting Brighton.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Tottenham 1, Brighton 2.
I did predict a 2-1 1 victory for Tottenham over the Seagulls.
But I hear a but coming.
But we might be a super hungover, from that Europa League final victory. I'm gonna predict a 2-1. I'm gonna stick with my guns because I think we're gonna be on a high, and hopefully that's gonna carry over. I want us to win this game. If United lose their match and we win ours, then hey, you can't say we finished last and got a trophy because we finished second to last and got a trophy. Bang bang.
All right.
Well, I think regardless, you're gonna lose the final and you're gonna try to win, but Brighton is gonna keep it 2-2.
All right. 2-2 it is. And those are our predictions for the last match week of the season.
What if whoever predicts the most gets the most points gets 1 extra point?
So
you
the
really
winner,
want to catch up?
Like an extra credit. Like extra credit.
Okay. So the winner of the overall points of this last match week gets an extra 3.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
1, but
let's
we can
make
go
it-
3. Okay.
Want to go 3 for
So
3?
the highest tally
highest
of
tally?
this week.
Yeah,
Okay.
it gets all right, let's do that. That's fine with me.
I'm just
Alan,
trying to
that's
make
not
as
going to be
many
you
rules.
though.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. So the winner of the match, the championship Sunday, gets an extra 3 points.
Extra credit.
Okay, you guys said it.
We had tried to introduce the what is it called? The bragging
Challenger
rights
rope?
card.
Oh, that's right.
Should that be part of the prize for one of us?
The
Instead
what?
of doing it for the rival matches, we just bring it back for the
All right, yeah, I agree.
the winner of the Premier League or the
Okay.
Mini League.
That's fair. That's fair.
Alright.
You can end an argument with it.
Yeah, because you know ball.
Yeah.
Ange ball?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, looking forward to. Okay, so how do we feel about where we finished at the end of the season overall?
Don't
Let's
ask
start with
me.
Alan.
Yeah. So
Let's work our way up from the table all the way up.
Give me your highlight and your disappointment of the whole season.
are we talking about the season or just the Premier League?
Overall, if it's a moment, let's do a Premier League. If it's expectation, it could be any. I think.
Moment.
Damn, if
moment.
I knew this, I
a
would have
specific
prepared.
moment.
Yeah, it could be anything. I mean, to me, we're losing some greats of the game. Kevin De Bruyne,
Oh, I thought you meant like our individual seasons.
Vardy. Yeah, I mean, I think for Arsenal, disappointing. Obviously, been the injuries. I think it's hard to see Liverpool win the title with the less points that we have gotten at the past 2 seasons. I wish it had been a bigger challenge from anybody, but it is what it is. They took advantage of everybody else's inconsistencies, so well deserved. I think. Yeah. I mean, I think to me this is one of the more fun Premier Leagues, despite the disappointment, just because of how all the other teams have just surprised everybody at the top and at the bottom.
I have a completely different perspective on this season.
Well,
I mean,
go
at least
ahead.
from our personal stance, I wish we weren't doing as bad, because you're right. Like seeing Forest compete, seeing Fulham, with their highest tally Premier League ever, I think. Bournemouth, the way how they were performing, and then Crystal Palace coming in late. It was actually really enjoyable seeing other teams stepping up to the plate, and it was on any given week you can lose to any of these teams, and that was fun. But for us, our season just turned to just injury crisis and just not getting into form, where we just fell so low that I couldn't enjoy the rest of the games that were being played because we had our own crisis going on,
Yeah.
people, oh, are we actually going to be falling into relegation zone? Are we actually going to be battling to stay in the league? So it was hard to enjoy the rest of the games when we were doing so bad. We had our highlight was the Europa, so our focus kind of shifted off the league and went into Europa, um, just focused on Europa. So, the
Yeah.
team, it felt like the team did that, and it felt like me as a fan, I did the same. So I was only enjoying, a few games out of the month, or every other 3 weeks or whatever it is, and we had a few cup runs that we actually did. We got, we people don't forget that we were in a semifinal too, so we reached two semifinals. So
That's
my
true.
enjoyment as a fan was outside the league, where
Yeah.
we can truly celebrate as a football club. But man, this season has been shambles, and it's
It's weird because they say, like Crystal Palace just won the FA Cup against well, technically, since Liverpool haven't been crowned yet, the current champions of the Premier League, Manchester City. But they were saying, it's not going to matter to them, and years come, no one's going to remember what place they finished this year because they won the FA Cup. Like, this is going to be,
yeah.
I think they said 175 years, their first major cup.
Yeah.
No one's going to remember their 12th, but it's funny
It-
because if
you know, it's-
United or Tottenham win the Europa League, well, one of them
no one's gonna
will.
know. No,
Everyone's gonna remember that you were dead last. Like, no one's not gonna remember that. Everyone's gonna know that was
no,
the
I don't think
season.
so. I think maybe next season and the season after that. But when you talk long term, it's not going to be.
I
It's
think,
crazy. All these
but
teams haven't won in so long, but everyone wants to talk about us, how we have no trophies. When Newcastle this season won their first trophy in
yeah,
like 70 years. We're just
yeah.
looking at 17. Since when is 17 more than 70? Since when is 17 more than 117? That's
But I
ridiculous.
think it's the
but
fact that
it's
because
narrative.
we're
Your
talking
top
about the
six.
big six,
Yeah.
the big six clubs.
Oh,
That's
so
why
we're
all
big
these
six.
talks,
And you heard
but
it here,
which
folks.
should
Randy has just said
change.
we're top six.
I
Nope.
didn't say top six. I said the
Hey,
big six,
hit
which
that- hit
is now going to
that-
be changing because we can't
Hit
include
that
the ones that are
15
in
seconds
seventh.
back, and you can hear Randy say it again. Thank you. Thanks, Randy.
Pat, edit that part out. But that's why I think it's like the discussion about the big six now. I think the talk might be in a little bit changing now because it's look at how it is. Manchester United hasn't been in the top six. Spurs haven't. Chelsea has just got up there. I think it's almost like a changing of the guard in a way, but I think there's still plenty of time before we actually consider a new big six.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a fluke season for many teams. So I will say though, I mean, I remember back in the day when we've like finished eighth twice in a row, people were saying like, "Oh, Arsenal, we're gonna kick them out of the top six," and then here we have teams that are literally above the relegation, and they're saying the same thing. So waves come and go, and this is obviously such a weird scenario to see both of these teams at the very bottom. But it goes to show the quality of the Premier League altogether that they both ended up in a final of the Europa League. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely weird. I guess we'll have to see who ends up in Champions League next season. I mean, I think I think it's going to finish just like this. I think it's going to be City, Newcastle, and Chelsea, and then we'll see how that affects everybody going into next season. Obviously Chelsea weren't in it this season. Newcastle weren't in it. Aston Villa were, and they probably will not get it this season. So they might come back stronger next season. Who knows? But yeah, Randy.
Hey, who knows? There's a lot riding in this last game.
Yeah,
But for me, I think it's just I would probably have to pick Liverpool because I think a lot of people didn't expect Liverpool to have this type of season. Honestly, I think we all think they would have dropped to maybe third, at least kept it somewhat competitive. I honestly thought it was going to be Manchester City and between Arsenal, but just the fact that a new head coach didn't make any signings, honestly, and took the same team that was left by Jurgen Klopp and was able to do little tweaks and come out with the results that needed to win. Like you guys mentioned, we capitalized on you guys not capitalizing it. So that is what sometimes is the difference. And I just think it's a good showing for a first-time coach. And I always mention that he always makes a necessary changes in the second half, and I like to see that. And I just think, as I've seen right now, he's making signings, early signings. So I just wonder how it's going to look like next season. And I'm very confident now, basing on these season and these transfers that are happening. I just think it was a good showing from, of course, from Liverpool and the first-time head coach Arne Slot with the team left by Jurgen Klopp. No one expected us to win, and I think it was a good showing. I think that was probably the highlight game for me. Our biggest competitor was Arsenal, and even though they had injuries and such, they were in second place, but the points between us, made it seem a little more, didn't make it seem like it was that much of competition. But for me, I think my disappointment would probably be the fact that, the whole drama surrounding the big
Trent.
three. Yeah.
Oh, that
I
was my
think
favorite
that's
part of the season.
because you
Trent
had
leaving.
nothing good to choose about Spurs. But I just think the fact that based on Liverpool, they didn't offer these contracts beforehand, waiting it for the last year. I think it might have caused a little confusion, and because we're going for the title, and then you have these thoughts about, are they going to re-sign or not? Is that deteriorating the team chemistry? But I just think the fact that Trent knew his decision beforehand and decided to play it out to give people a little hope that he was going to sign, especially with all these celebrations. I just think it was foul play. But I think that was the disappointing thing, was the fact that he knew the answer long ago, but he just decided to wait to the end of this season to do it. But at least we got Virgil and Mo Salah. But I believe that's where probably the highs and the lows of this Premier League for me.
Nice. I will say another highlight is that we all beat City at some point this season. Which is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And the highlight is City didn't win it this year. They were trophyless,
I'd
which
rather have
is
City win it.
great to hear. I couldn't deal with another City winning it. I mean, I would love to see their parade or their barbecue, but it's sad. It's good to see.
Yeah, crazy season. And it's coming to an end. But the mini league is still alive. So,
Still up for grabs.
yep. Stay in touch.
Yes. I think the off season, actually, I'm looking forward to some of the content that we can put out during the off season.
That's when you're
Transfers
happy
for
when
me
they're
is
not playing.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I can be hopeful again. But seeing the transfers,
doesn't have to make predictions.
rumors,
Yeah, we're
jerseys
excited for
coming
transfers.
out.
Yeah,
Huh?
we got to do
Oh,
the
yeah.
jersey again.
Yeah,
I know,
another
so-
jersey ranking again.
And maybe we can talk about who we are and how we fell in love with our clubs.
Yeah.
And
I didn't just
probably
pick
give
the
our
ones
own
the most.
highlight team of the our own personal highlight, our team of the season and stuff like that. Surprising coach, young player of the year, stuff like that. We can get more into certain things
Best
like that.
moments.
Yeah,
like
we're gonna have to do a team of the
Bergwall
season.
scoring on Liverpool, but
But I gotta check down the table to see where Spurs are at.
it's okay. You don't have to check down that table. Just check on the Champions League table next season. We'll be up there.
Runner up in Europa League. They won't be in Champions
Okay.
League.
Okay. Oh.
All right. Who wants to close it?
I can close it.
Yeah,
All right.
close it. So you can open tomorrow, next week when Spurs lose.
That's right.
I'll
Open.
be MIA. I will not be here.
Don't worry, I'll have a speech ready just in case you MIA.
I'll be putting on, what's that song by Eminem? Say it on
Which
fire?
one?
No, what is
Lose
it?
yourself.
No, when he's Stan.
I'm so sick and tired.
All right, and that is an
Tears go
episode.
down
This
the
is
line.
the last week of the Premier League. Like I said, is one to forget for some of us, one to remember for a select few. But join us next week where we will be recapping this season. We'll be finding out who the winner of the Premier League or the Mini League is, and hopefully it's me. So stay tuned for that. Join us next week. Make sure you hit that like. Check out our Instagram, Rivals on the Pitch. And wait. Who are you guys supporting for tomorrow's final? Real quick.
I'm going United.
Come on.
Because if they win it, it won't matter. It won't matter. However,
come
Tottenham win it, it's gonna ruin my life.
Good.
Oh,
Randy?
man.
Randy's a Tottenham. Got him.
Yeah, I'll
it.
go Spurs, even though I talk a lot of shit.
Go. All right,
Put it
hopefully
that.
we'll be next week we'll be here with some good news. So see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Two.
Koi.